Hey, what's going on, YouTube? I was producing a video. I had just made an audio for it a few hours ago about a topic that's very near and dear to me and that I've been thinking about for a while. But I had to stop production of that due to an email that I received from a brother. And I clicked on the link, and it was involving this mysterious death of this University of Kentucky student in Tel Aviv, Israel. She was a foreign exchange student, actually, that was studying at the University of Jordan or something like that, because University of Kentucky has a crossover program, and in the summertime they have an Islamic studies program where enrolled students in that program go overseas to the Middle East, to one of three locations: Lebanon, Jordan, or Israel. And so this young black girl, who was the University of Kentucky student, she wound up at the university in Jordan as a foreign exchange student. Now, apparently, from what I initially saw and what the press clippings have said, and this has made news on all the major networks. It's gone viral on social media. But this is a classic case of the news media, the news networks, and social media saying two completely different things, giving two different stories of what actually is going on. Now, the major news networks, Fox News, CNN, the BBC, whatever, they are reporting that this girl, she decided to go on a weekend trip, which is a very short trip from Jordan. For those of you Negroes who are not geographically savvy, Jordan is a Middle Eastern Arab Muslim country that borders with Israel. And for those of you who are not historically and politically savvy, Jordan and Israel were once at war with each other in 1973 during the Yom Kippur War. They've since made peace, but they're not exactly friends. So this foreign exchange student, she left, I guess, the campus area in Amman, Jordan, and she went, this is what the news media is reporting, she went to visit Israel over the weekend, and specifically the beachfront in Tel Aviv, which is a very popular tourist spot for people who visit that part, who are brave enough to visit that part of the world. And from news accounts, she and these two friends, which happened to be a Arab American male in his 20s, which was also a foreign exchange student that was ironically from here in Illinois, and a female foreign exchange student, a white female foreign exchange student, also in the same program, but also a U.S. citizen. She decided to go to the beachfront with these two other students that she had befriended, and they decided for some odd reason to go swimming in the surf in the Mediterranean Sea at midnight, in the dead of night. And during that swimming session, the two friends, they claimed that they got caught up in a high tide rip current and dragged further out to sea than they wanted to go. Now, the two friends that were with this girl, Teniya Jones, they were able to swim back safely to shore, and then they ran and they told the authorities what happened, and that Teniya Jones did not make it to shore. So for the next 20, this happened, from my understanding, this happened Saturday night going into Sunday morning. And then Israel, the Israeli government confirmed that they sent police and rescue workers to go out and look for this girl. There was a huge search party by air and by boat along the beachfront. And unfortunately, Teniya Jones' body was recovered not too long after they began searching for her, only a few hours after they began searching for her. And it was assumed that she had, taken away in the rip current. She wasn't able to recover and she drowned. That's what the reports are saying in the media, and that's what the American embassy in Israel is saying Israeli authorities are telling them. However, there's a twist in this story, because there's several things that are either in contradiction with the story that's actually being told in the news media, in the major news networks, or it just is completely conflicting with actual witness accounts of things that happened before, during, and after these kids this girl, we're just going to say this girl, wound up in the sea. Okay. Now, I've been doing some research on social media, and it's one thing when you're talking about just rumors from dumbass Negroes, like in the Kanika Jenkins case, but there is this one profile on Facebook that actually showed that this person who owns this profile had been in contact with someone on Facebook who runs Reshet Bet, which is better known as Radio Tel Aviv, a very popular radio station, news and pop culture radio station in Israel. And they were reporting on the radio station regarding this case that, first of all, the police had been called to a gas station for a disturbance between a young man, with a description of a young man and a young woman that were in an altercation and seemed to be physically fighting or in some type of physical confrontation. And this gas station was literally across the street from the Mediterranean seafront promenade, which is similar to like Venice Beach in Santa Monica Beach in Southern California. And that these two young people that were arguing, the description that went out, because people over there, I guess, can pick up radio transmissions the same way that they do over here, fit the description of the young lady in question. And as a matter of fact, the person that called into the radio station said that police over the transponder had asked for a confirmation of the description of Nekar Peforta, which in Hebrew means female foreigner. And so that was an indication that whoever was involved in the confrontation, from whoever was calling in to the police for the altercation near the seafront at the time, was described as being foreign, or I guess non-Jewish or Middle Eastern looking. And then this profile on Facebook, they also said that the local news stations, the local TV news stations in Tel Aviv, Israel, that reported on this missing girl, Teniya Jones, and her friends, they actually showed CCTV footage of the two so-called friends that Teniya went to the ocean or the seafront beach with the moment they entered a police station there to report Teniya missing and tell what happened. And they appeared to be well dressed and dry, meaning they weren't wet, which would be an indicator that either they never got in the water, these two so-called friends, the white female and the Arab male that they claim are both U.S. citizens, but also foreign exchange students in the same program as Teniya, or they went somewhere after the incident and changed clothes before they went to report her missing. Now, those are actual facts of what I've seen in researching this particular case. Now, what is unconfirmed is I saw some comments underneath this post that for some reason was made private within an hour of me reading it, because I had intended to screenshot it. And there were some people in the comment section that claimed to have also visited that part of the Mediterranean seafront that's popular with tourists. And they said, first of all, at that time of night, you're not going to hardly see anybody on the beachfront. You'll see a few couples walking and some people jogging, but you're not going to see anybody 9 times out of 10 out in the surf, which makes sense, as you wouldn't see along any beachfront at midnight. This apparently happened around midnight in Tel Aviv, Israel. And I mean, if you go to Lake Michigan, if you go to Santa Monica, wherever you go, 9 times out of 10 you're not going to see people out trying to swim at fucking midnight when it's pitch black outside. I know people do crazy things, but the other thing, now when I saw that, I said, okay, well, this is just what people claim in the comment section up against this story of this person that's been in contact with this radio station in Israel, of a person talking about a male and a female that was described by police as being a foreigner, getting into some type of confrontation near the seafront, where this girl apparently turned up dead after going missing for a few hours. But then an article came out not too long after that, after Teniya was found dead. Her mother actually said 2 things that made me kind of raise my eyebrow about the official report coming out of the U.S. Embassy. First of all, she said that she had received a text from her daughter about 2 hours before her friends reported her missing, or before the whole search party thing began. And in the text, her mother said that he told her she was in for the night. Now, her mother's, stateside, so she doesn't really know what's going on. But her mother said that she received a text from Teniya Jones that she was in for the night, meaning, in the house, and we know kids lie all the time. But she said, they would always keep back and forth texts, and she would always let her know if she was going out doing something, or if she was getting ready to go to bed. And the other thing was that her mother said that it wasn't like Teniya to go out, swimming in, on a beachfront or anywhere at night. She said that she didn't like going out at night in extremely dark places, because since she was a little girl, she was afraid of the dark. She went out, like to parties, clubs, stuff like that these young students, these college kids do, but she wasn't going to go to no extremely dark place. And if you're along a beachfront, near where the actual waterfront is, it's going to be unusually dark. So other people on social media, they were also questioning why the police concluded so quickly that this girl had drowned, and why they weren't looking into whether there was any connection between the reported altercation, which, by the way, from what I understand, when authorities actually got to that location, the gas station that was across the street from the seafront near where this girl went missing, they didn't find anybody. There was just somebody put in a random anonymous report of a young female that was described as foreign looking, and a young man who they did not send out a description of, fighting in or around this gas station. And by the time the Israeli version of police got there, there was nobody there. Okay. And then a couple of hours later, this girl gets reported missing by these two so-called friends that, were reportedly seen on local TV stations over there in Israel, on CCTV footage, entering a police station to report their friend missing in dry, clean clothes. Now, obviously, if you just got done, first of all, if you're swimming and your friend gets ripped out to sea, you're not going to run back to your hotel to change your fucking clothes. And then, you're going to go run straight. You're going to go run straight to the closest person with a fucking phone, if you ain't got one yourself, and, ask them to call 911 or its Israeli equivalent. Or you're going to run straight to the police station if you know where it is. Okay? So to me, this is a little suspicious. It's a little weird. Now, at the end of the day, it could very well be that this girl, Teniya Jones, she just had a really dumb, spontaneous idea with these two quote unquote friends to go out to the Mediterranean Sea in the middle of the night in the dark and take a swim or even wade in the water, even though although it said they were swimming in the water at midnight. I don't know. I don't get out much. So maybe I'm tweaking. Maybe y'all know people who do that. Maybe you've done it yourself, swimming out in the water in the dead of night. I don't know. I ain't never heard nobody fucking do that, that I know of, but it is what it is. So maybe that is what happened. Maybe she got swept out to sea. But, the facts and the evidence and witness accounts, and what people, with internal knowledge of this investigation are saying over there, conflicting with what the U.S. Embassy is saying, is kind of making me raise my eyebrow and be a little bit suspicious about this. Now, that is only part of the issue. That's the only part of the issue. The reason why I bring this up is because on Facebook, some people that knew Teniya, some of her friends that were with her at the University of Kentucky, and some of her childhood friends, they said that people need to understand, because, every time one of these stories goes viral, everybody's giving their opinion, their spiel on everything. And this one girl that claimed, she's known Teniya since 6th grade, she said people need to understand that she didn't know these two people that she decided to cross the border by tour bus and go to Israel just for the weekend, and they were supposed to be back in Jordan on campus, on the University of Jordan campus or whatever, by Monday. She didn't know them prior to going over there. She actually met these other two American students over there, and I don't know how many cases we've seen like this. Natalie Holloway, that fucking chick in, where was that, Spain or Italy, that got stabbed to death by the black dude and the white girl in some weird sexual threesome ritual. But we see these cases every so many years of American students that they be going over to these other countries, and they wind up turning up, either disappearing or wind up dead. Okay. So her friend, one of her friends that I saw on Facebook, she said that she didn't know these two before she went over there. She just met them and, assumably befriended them. And then all three of them decided to go, to Israel for the weekend and got this crazy idea to swim in the surf or whatever. Now, I bring this whole story up for a couple of reasons. Number one, the irony of this is that there are Black American females nowadays that have this hashtag divest from Blackistan idea in their heads that, they're going to go overseas, or, they're going to go and visit and be around other cultures, tribes, and troops of people, and everything's going to be sunny side up. Now, upon looking at Teniya Jones' Facebook and Twitter profile, there was no indications that she was a swirler. She actually seemed more along the lines of one of those Black Lives Matter types, and she did have a black boyfriend, though of course we know, these females ain't loyal, but there was no indication that she was messing around with anybody. Nobody knows for sure, but there was no indication that she was messing around with anybody while she was over there. This seemed to be a thing where, she just decided to go with a couple of people that she met to, a exotic location for a little fun, and was going to come back. But you have a lot of Black females that you see on their social media profiles. They're always traveling to some exotic place, and they're so quick to show off, look, I'm in this part of the world, I'm in that part of the world. It's nothing wrong with that at all. But Black people as a collective, and Black women in general, and we've been over this before, they seem to have a broad misconception and misunderstanding of the way the world works. Okay. Number one, and this has come up, internally within my family, involving a female family member of mine on a couple of occasions. Number one, not everybody is your fucking friend. Okay. Now, I don't know this girl, from Adam. Of course, I don't know what her personality was like, but I think we've all learned more than a couple of times that, just because you meet somebody at a party, or just because you meet somebody, in a classroom setting or on the job, that doesn't mean that you can trust them, that you can trust them enough to go to a second location with them, far away from anybody that or are connected to, in a place that you've never been to. The fact of the matter is, this girl was in a place in the dead of night that was basically pretty unpopulated and desolate at the time, in an area, where there wasn't a lot of light, there weren't a lot of people around, and she went with two people that she barely knew. Okay, to a place that she had never been to. So it very well could be that the rip current got her, but it also could very well be that foul play was involved and she got into it with somebody, and you know how black females get, and she pissed off somebody, maybe even one of them Muslim dudes, and they don't play that shit with females, and things got hot because again, the radio report was that police transmissions were that it was a foreign looking female that was physically fighting a male, that was not, where a description was not given of the male. So that could have been completely unrelated. It could have been a prank call, or it could have been Teniya, about to get her ass whooped or getting her ass whooped and then dragged off, and God knows what happened. And then, her body turned up in the seat. Nobody knows at this point. But as you can imagine, the halls of conspiracy theory have opened up. Now, me personally, I'm not, a diehard conspiracy theorist. I couldn't roll my eyes back in my skull enough in the Kanika Jenkins case. We all know what happened there. Just some drunk broad that stumbled out of a ratchet ghetto party. Should have been her little fast ass at home in the bed or studying, doing homework, and wound up dead after stumbling into a hotel freezer near O'Hare Airport. But in this case, there are indications that it's possible something else went on. Okay. And we had literally just gone over this, involving the Nia Wilson case. These black females who think that, somehow, they're going to go to other cultures or other countries and, marry non-black men or, date non-black men, or you see a lot of black females, they have like a huge range of like, white girlfriends that they like to hang out with, and they act like they're on the come up just because they're with people of other races and languages, in some foreign country somewhere, all by themselves. It would be different if they were with a group of black people. But this girl went over to the Middle East to this foreign exchange program all by herself. Okay. And, she didn't know nothing about, that area or the second area that she went to. And she probably didn't know much about these people that she met. From what I understand, she had only been in the program. She had only been over there for 2 months. So she couldn't have known them that well if she actually met them on campus in Jordan. Okay. And nobody knows who popped the idea of, ooh, let's hop on this tour bus and, go 60 miles across the border into Israel and, swim in the middle of the night, in the surf, in the Mediterranean Sea. Like I said, who does that? I don't know. But even her mother said that was highly unusual and unlike her. Not saying that she didn't do it. We've seen black females do dumber things, but again, this looks like a classic case of a young black female who, thought she was on the come up, one of those educated independent sisters that made, a few really bad mistakes. Number one, trusting people. Number two, going to a location that she was unfamiliar with. I mean, we've seen this happen on multiple different occasions, not just with black people, but with white people as well. And it turned out badly. As a matter of fact, there was even a Chinese foreign exchange student down here in the central Illinois area that turned up missing and is now presumed dead. They have some white guy under arrest suspected in her murder, even though they've never found her body. That happened last year, like in the fall of last year. She just came here visiting a friend. She wasn't even a student, and she turned up missing. And, somewhere in one of these cornfields down here, her body has been decomposed and it's just bones, but, they'll probably never find her, and so, I guess luckily to provide Teniya Jones's family closure. They were able to find her body. But I am going to be following this story to see if there are any updates in the case, because, there's a lot of things surrounding it that sound strange and highly suspicious. I don't know if this guy in the picture, if this Arab dude in the picture, I don't know the one that's paying tribute to her. I don't know if he's the Arab American guy that she went along with the white female student that she befriended to Israel to swim in the surf. But another thing I found odd was the state of Israel has very strict regulations on who can enter into their country. They're not like over here in the United States. They don't just let any Mexican come into their shit, if you get my drift. Especially if they have a passport from a Muslim country, because you can understand, the security issues, between, Jews and Muslims not liking each other and blowing shit up. But so again, these were two U.S. citizens, so that may have changed things a bit. But yeah, this is kind of interesting because it's mysterious and it's kind of an eyebrow raiser. Again, it could very well be that she just made a bad decision to go for a late night swim and drowned. I mean, it's pretty hard to outswim, when you can't see where the fuck you're going. But subject for another video. But just the things surrounding the case, the friends that wound up at the police station in dry clothes that seemed like they were well dressed, the altercation outside of a gas station near where the girl came up missing. The text, "Mom, I'm in for the night." The mom saying, that's highly unlike her. There's too much going on here for me to just take this at face value from what the actual news media is saying. But yeah, guys, I'll stay on this story. We'll see if there is any official report, because the only people that are reporting on this besides the news media is the American Embassy in Amman, Jordan, and the American Embassy in Jerusalem, Israel. The actual police, the IDF, they have not released a public statement from what I know on this issue, but it is turning into an international incident. So we'll see what's going on. But yeah, for you black females, from Nia Wilson to this, y'all, again, it's not gonna happen to everybody, but you think you're just gonna run to other tribes of people and everything's gonna be sunny side up. You got to remember, it's not just white people that don't like your black ass. Okay, I'm not saying that this had anything to do with anything like that, but I'm just saying, you trust other people other than your own, you might be in for a rude awakening instead of the swirl mountain that you was looking for. I mean, what was that? Just last year, some black guy got beat to death in a pub in Greece. And then Malcolm X's grandson got beat to death at a bar in Mexico. Negroes going to all these foreign locations and, thinking that everything's going to be safe and sunny side up. Some of them are finding out different. So, and another thing Negroes need to understand, like them two lesbians that I told y'all about that almost wound up doing life in prison for having synthetic marijuana in Kuwait. You go to these other countries and y'all, especially you black females, y'all try that ratchet, Diaries of a Mad Black Female with an Attitude type shit in those other countries, especially the Middle East, and you think you just gonna go over there and do what you want to do? No, it don't work like that. There's a lot of places they don't play that shit. They will check your ass quick. Again, I don't know if this confrontation between this male and female that hit the police radio had anything to do with Teniya Jones and the two friends. But if it did, y'all gotta understand, y'all gotta abide by the rules and customs of other people's countries when y'all go over there. Only in the United States can you pop off at the mouth and act like a fool and not have any consequences and repercussions. You do that, especially in those Middle Eastern countries, but even in a lot of those South American countries, they'll fuck you up. I'm just letting you know. I mean, like I said, we've seen it happen time and time again. So yeah, guys, like I said, I don't mean to keep regurgitating, but yeah, we'll stay on this. And if you guys can find out anything, email me. Thank you, brother, for sending me this. And talk to you later, guys. Oh, a quick update to this story. I decided to just add it on to the video that I've already produced instead of making another one. Literally just within an hour or so of producing the first audio, I came across this post of someone who put this up on Teniya's Facebook page, and also posted it on her mother's page. And apparently, the American news media and Israeli news media are saying two different things about this situation. The Times of Israel, which is a digital newspaper over there, is reporting that Teniya Jones's body was found with the body of a young man, that both washed up on shore at virtually the same time, along the same beachfront, although in slightly different locations. Now, what are the odds of the bodies of two young people, both of them not from Israel, washing up on shore on the same beach? While they're out looking for this girl, they find the body of a young man. It's being reported in the article that he was a citizen of a city, an Arab city. That's all it's saying. I'm assuming they mean Jordan or Lebanon, but he was not from Israel. I don't know if he was from the West Bank, but they were saying that he's from a small town in one of the nearby Arab countries. And his body washed up on shore along with Teniya Jones's body. And he was out, strangely enough, they're saying that he was out with friends on a raft. Three friends, him and two other people, were out on a raft, on the same, in the Mediterranean Sea, along the same beachfront as Teniya Jones. Now, it just so happens that two separate groups of young people, both of them, three company, go out on the same beach, and two of them, one from each party, turn up dead in the same place at the same time. Something about that just don't seem right to me. I mean, if the beaches are that fucking dangerous around there, then they need to put up signs and have patrols to keep people from going on that motherfucker, if you ask me. I mean, if it's that damn dangerous that people just drowning all over the damn place, but that's too much of a coincidence. Now I'm definitely suspicious and something sounds fishy. On a side note, I also found out that Teniya Jones's half brother, that was birthed by a separate father. They both have different fathers. He was murdered late last year when he was outside of a party visiting some friends, and he was shot to death with another young man. So her mother, unfortunately, has now lost two children over a course of less than 8 months. Also, strangely enough, well, not so strangely in the black community, Teniya Jones is one of her childhood friends, Alexis Wilson, was murdered in another shooting, and that occurred in early 2014. I've found this while researching on her page. She paid tribute to Alexis Wilson. Even though this is unrelated, I think it's relevant because I told y'all that, these females are dropping like flies out here, and really black youth die every day, which is why it was so perplexing to me as to why people were so worked up over the Kanika Jenkins and Nia Wilson case. And get this, in addition to that, the suspect has been arrested and charged with the murder of her best friend, Teniya Jones, her best friend, Alexis Wilson. He was also charged in Fort Myers, Florida, where she's from, with the shooting death. Well, he's also implicated in the shooting death of another girl around the same age as Alexis Jones, named Kanasha Isaac or something like that. So he apparently shot two girls to death in 2014, the person that murdered her best friend, Alexis Wilson. So right there you have two girls, two young men, and then Teniya in the body of this alleged Arab kid. That's a total of 6 young dead people, and there's indicators now that their foul play may have been involved in the deaths of Teniya and this other kid that washed up on shore. But I told y'all before, and I think I'm gonna do a video about it. Not gonna touch on it here, but for whatever reason, death the black community is just surrounded in a culture of death. You see all these RIP tribute pages on these kids' Facebook. I mean, nobody that young should be experiencing that much tragedy, but it just lets you know where we are as a community and as a people. The violent ass backwards culture for this Teniya Jones girl, herself being dead along with somebody else, out in another country on a foreign exchange visit. She's directly and indirectly tied to the deaths of 3 other people, including her best friend and her half brother. So, I mean, it's just crazy out there, man. Y'all ask me why I stay away from around niggas and stay to myself. Again, nobody knows what happened to Teniya, but I just find that highly awkward that, she would have this curse of death in and around her family and friends, and then, she'd turn up dead with, some dude from some Arab country in the same place. I mean, that's just too weird. But anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on it, and thanks. Talk to you later, guys.